Hi ladies, this is my card for today, and it is a birthday card that I made, and it's I guess a tri-fold card. It's folded 3 times, and then my sentiment is in the center like that. The inside says I hope you have a perfect birthday, and then the third panel has a little fish, a little mouse, and some yarn for the kitty for her birthday. And let's get started and I'll show you how I made it. Okay, so I used the Create a Critter cartridge and the Doodlecharms cartridge for this card. And the let's see, we'll do the Doodlecharms first because I only cut one thing from the Doodlecharms cart, and it's page 14 in the, it's page 114 in the manual, and I cut this mouse right here, that little mouse, and I cut him at 1 inch out of brown cardstock. There he is. And then, so that's all I cut from the Doodlecharms cartridge. The Create a Critter cartridge, in the manual on page 38, you'll find the kitty, and I cut the base of the kitty out of black, and I cut the kitty at 1 3/4, and I cut the base out of black. I cut on the shift key, I cut the yarn out. The yarn was cut at 1 inch out of the pink cardstock, and then under the layer 1 key, let's see if I can get it on the camera there. The layer 1 key, the overlay for the kitty, I cut out of white, again at 1 3/4 inches. And then on the layer 2 key, that was the kitty's nose and the kitty's little bow, and those I both cut those out of pink also. Okay, and then on the accessory key, which is right here, I cut the bed and the ruffle, or the ruffle of the bed. Both of those were cut at 1 1/4. The 1 3/4 size was a little too big for the card, so I decreased the size to 1 1/4. Everything else was cut at 1 3/4, but the bed was cut at 1 1/4. Okay, and I think that's it. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is create our card base, and this is cut at 3.5 inches by 10.5 inches, and I'm going to score it at 3.5 inches and at 7 inches, and I'm going to flip it over and score it at 7 inches. Okay, so I scored my paper and then I folded it in half so it creates the tri-fold card like that. Okay, and then my pieces of paper that I'm going to put on my pattern cardstock, these were all cut at 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I decided to use 2 different patterns. So I'm going to rotate them like that. So I'm going to stick those down, and I'm just going to use a glue runner to do that really quick. Okay, so I got my paper applied to my card, so there it is, and I'm going to put the cat on the front now. Here's the bed with the little ruffle on it, and I'm just going to glue that directly to the front of the card. And I'm just going to place it, kind of center it, but place it near the bottom, probably about 1/2 inch up from the bottom, and then centered Okay, so here's my little kitty, and I put foam tape on the back of her, and I'm going to sit her on her little bed on the card, and I'll try to do this. Okay, so just like that. Okay, so there's the front of the card, and now I'm going to put the sentiment in the center, and I already pre-printed my sentiment on a piece of white cardstock, and it says, I hope you have a perfect birthday, and the white cardstock is 2.5 by 2.5, and the pink matting is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I'm just going to, I already have tape runner in the back, I'm just going to center it on the center of my card, or the center panel of my card. Okay, so there it is, center of my card, and now I'm going to add to the third panel, I'm going to add all the kitty's little gifts. Okay, so now we're going to do the last panel of the card, and that's where all the little gifts for our kitty are located, and I'm going to put the little fish on first. Here's the little fish. And I cut him from the Create a Critter cartridge. And, oh, you know what? I don't even know what page he's on. I forgot to tell you about him. I cut him at 1 inch, and he is on page, here he is. He's on page 43. And I cut the layer 1. Right there, that little one, right, the pink one, I cut him out of blue at 1 inch. So that's our little fish right there. See our little fish? And I'm going to do the mouse next. And again, I cut the mouse at 1 inch also. And he is on page 114 of the Doodlecharms cart. And I'm going to stick him right there, like that, and then I cut the ball of yarn, which is on the same page as the kitty in the Create a Critter cart, and I'm gonna stick this down. Okay, so I got the ball of yarn stuck down, so there's all of the kitty's gifts, his ball of yarn, his little mouse, and his fish, and now our card is done. So there it is. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.